eventually you run out of money, no matter how much money you have. So when it comes to private money, how big of a deal is relationships? And how do you build strong relationships so that you can keep those private lenders happy?
Yes, that is so foundational. So, one way we build relationships is I never pitch a deal. I've never pitched a deal. In fact, part of the answer to your question, Fong, is I've never asked anybody for money. And they say, Jay, how do you have $8.5 million of private money funding at your disposal that you use from project to project, and you've never asked anybody for money? Well, here's the secret sauce. Again, I put on my teacher hat. And first of all, I teach my program. In other words, the traditional way to borrow money, Fong, is you go to the local bank, you get on your hands and knees, and you put your hands underneath your chin, and you say, please fund my deal. Please fund my deal. But in this world of private money, there's no asking for a mortgage. It's offering a mortgage. So we separate the activity of teaching our private lending program. And here's another big thing. When I borrowed money from the banks, they put the program together. They set the interest rate. They set the frequency of payments. They set the maximum loan to value. Well, it's the opposite of that in this world. We, as the borrower, as the real estate investors, we set the program. We set the rate. We set the frequency of payments. And so, again, we're teaching how people can get high rates of return safely and securely, either by using their investment capital or their retirement funds. So first of all, we teach the program. It takes about 20 minutes to go through how someone can earn high rates of return safely and securely and be totally passively involved in real estate. So they like the program. They tell us how much they have to work with, investment capital, or maybe they've got retirement funds and they're not happy with the returns they're getting on the retirement funds. Well, in that case, we introduce them to the self-directed IRA company that we recommend. And that, by the way, is Quest Trust in Houston, Texas. Well, guess what? Over half of our private lenders, I got 47 right now. You don't need 47. You need one or two to start. But over half of them are using their retirement funds that they've transferred over penalty-free, tax-free, and then they loan us money out on our deals. And so again, here's the secret. Teaching the private lending program, what it is that you're going to offer. And by the way, I've got a book here that at the end of the show, I'm going to give out to everybody for free. And in the book, it's got the exact private lending program that we teach. They tell us how much they got to work with. And then, Fong, the next part that is so important is we get our deals funded by calling up our private lenders with what we call the good news phone call. So we don't call them up to pitch a deal. We call them up, and here's the exact script. We say, I've got great news for you. I can now put your money to work. Well, guess what? They've been waiting for the phone call. Particularly if they move their money over to the self-directed IRA company, they're not earning any money on that money until they fund your deal with that money. So we call them up with the good news phone call and we say, I've got great news for you. I can now put your money to work. And then we tell them 4 bits of information about the deal. I've got a house in Newport, so I tell them where it's located. The after repaired value is $200,000. I tell them the after repaired value. The funding required is $150,000. I know they got $150,000. They already told me that 2 weeks ago. And the closing date is next Wednesday. So you need to have your funds wired to my real estate attorney by next Tuesday. So, and that's it. I'm not going to ask them if they want to do the deal. Of course they want to do the deal. They've been waiting for me to call them to put their money to work. So again, it's the separation of conversations. The worst time in the world to be raising private money is when you need it for a deal, because desperation has got a smell to it. So no, we're going to teach the program, tell them we'll put their money to work for them just as soon as possible, and call them up with the good news phone call.